Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's going on, Hijrah family? It's your boy Hamza Abu Dalaya, back at you again. I don't know if I told you, I think I've told you a couple videos back, or many videos back, that what I do to create content for this channel is that I go through a lot of the Hijrah channels, including the Make Hijrah channel, and I look through the comments for what people are saying, so I can get a gist of, okay, I can formulate that into a question, and then, because if that person's asked it, then maybe many other people have asking it. So I'm thinking, okay, so that's what I do to create content. So today I want to discuss with you an issue that I'm surprised people are still, having an issue with it. And that is the criticism of the Muslim rulers, because a lot of people say that they're doing things that appear to be un-Islamic, or they're allowing things to go on in the society that can be deemed as un-Islamic. And for that reason, it's recommended by these people who have highlighted this fact that, that country should be taken off the list of places because the ruler of that country allows certain things to go on within that society that are haram. And maybe their international policy, towards other countries seems to be contradictory, because with them having alliances with other countries, it's either bringing oppression on the Muslims that are there, or it's like this. It's like a leader of a Muslim country will have some type of business or trade deal with a country that has Muslims in that country that are being oppressed. So for that reason, people have said in the comments, not my comments, but elsewhere, that because of that, that country should be taken off the list. I'm not going to even argue whether your point is valid or not. I'm not here to discuss that, because in reality, I can't. Yeah? And this is the reason why. Allah says that He is Rabbil Alameen. Allah says that He is Lord of the worlds, plural. Okay? So the thinkers of the past, or the scholars of the past, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, or I could have misread, so please, if you've got any opinions on what I'm saying, put them in the comments, okay? But here we go. Allah says He's Rabbil Alameen, He's Lord of the worlds, okay? Now you can look at that literally, quite literally. So Allah is Lord of the world that the humans occupy. Allah is also Lord of the unseen, meaning the world of the jinns and the angels. If there are aliens out there, or if there are other creations that Allah has out there in space, what we would call aliens, He's also the Lord of that world. He is the Lord of the world in paradise and Jahannam, another world. He is the Lord of the animals, because how they have their societies and how they communicate and mate and all is different to how we do it. So any other realm that is different from, if there's any other worlds that are different from our world that we're in, Allah's the Lord of that. Okay. There's also another way you can look at it. He is Lord of all of the above that I've just mentioned. But what about the world that are in worlds? Okay, what about the worlds that are within worlds? What do I mean? The easiest example I can give is when a caterpillar goes into a cocoon, yeah, and then re-emerges as a butterfly, yeah. Or another example would be while the child is growing in the womb and taking sustenance from its mother, it's in its own environment. That's a world, yeah. Same with the caterpillar and the butterfly within the cocoon. That's a world, yeah. So they're two examples of a world within a world, because it happens in our realm of how we see the world. But within that world itself, you have other worlds, i.e., for example, the baby in the womb that Allah talks about in the Quran, and also a caterpillar, cocoon, butterfly. Right. The reason why I'm emphasizing on this is this. Many could argue, or I would argue, that those people who have been placed in authority over us, the politicians, the diplomats, those people who politically run the world, yeah, they negotiate with other countries, whether it's on a positive note or a negative note, whether they're opening trade deals or whether they're about to go to war, yeah. When they come home to govern their countries, they're talking to politicians and governors and all this kind of royalty, yeah. That in itself, because the way that these people think is on a total international level. Like, maybe they're not being disrespectful, but they have been given the charge to be responsible over us, to make sure that the people that they govern are the priority, because that's why we've put them in that position, or that's why they've been given that position, yeah, because they are rulers, they are governors, they are politicians, they are what we call internationalists, yeah. So the vision that the view that they have of the world is going to be different to the vision that we have. The ordinary man who gets up every day and works to pay the bills, because any kind of policy or any kind of decision that these people make has a trickle-down effect to us on the ground. Not saying that they're above the ground, but I'm saying on the ground, yeah? Which is why, say for the UK, for example, the government will come out with some type of policy that they believe is going to save millions of pounds, and it's going to be nothing but positivity for the people, for the workers, for the taxpayers, etc., etc., etc. But then when the ordinary man on the ground hears it, he's like, bro, what you just said or what you just implemented makes absolutely no sense. In fact, what you've done is going to cause more oppression. Yeah. Now, many of us might turn around and say, well, these evil rulers, that's what they do. They lie to us. These politicians lie to us, and they make up stuff and da 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 da. And you could be right. You could be right. Yeah. But let's take that point that I've just made and put it on the Muslim world now. Yeah. I've seen, comments saying, "Oh, these rulers are oppressive." I came across a video one time, and a sister asked a brother who was giving a talk, should Muslims make Hijrah? And he was up in arms. Where can you make Hijrah? You're talking about going to a country where it's illegal for more than 3 or 4 people to gather in any one place and have a discussion. Why would I make Hijrah to somewhere like that? And I was flabbergasted. I was like, number one, the leader of that country might have had a very, very good reason why he didn't want, or he made it an arrestable offence for no more than X amount of people to be gathered in a single place talking about whatever. That's just the way they do things. So my whole point is this: it's not wise. It's not wise, whether you're stood in your country of origin, i.e. Europe and US, yeah, and you're stood in your country, your place of safety, and you're criticizing the Muslim rulers because you think, or you and others think, they shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that. Why are they doing that? It's haram for them to do this. Why are they kissing up to the kuffar? Blah, 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 blah. They're in cahoots with Israel. No, 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 no. And the reason why we say things like this is because the perception, because between them and us, there's a middleman, and the middleman is usually political commentators and the media. Oh, and the opposition. Yeah, because every leader has an opposition. Yeah. So they are the middle. I'm not here making excuses. We're not sat there in meetings with those leaders when they're trying to hash out policies for the betterment of their countries and their people. Yeah. And we should make excuses for them. In fact, I strongly believe we should make excuses to them, because we're not being told from the horse's mouth, as they say, the reason why I've made this trade deal, even though it's come across that I'm befriending an oppressor of these Muslims here, or of the reason why, there happens to be a red light district, or the reason why there's nightclubs that can be found over that region and I haven't closed it, is because of kidda. These people haven't got time to sit down and justify to you or me why they do what they do, or why they allow what they do, what's happening in their countries. They're busy running a country. Like, I'm sure these dudes don't have more than 4 to 6 hours a night's sleep a day, 7 days a week, because they're in the process of running a country. And there's you and I complaining about what we think they should be doing and what we think they shouldn't be doing. And to be quite frank with you, and I say this to myself first, who are you? Who are you? If you was to stand in their shoes for one day, and these people are making 50, 60 decisions a day, if not more, about the betterment of their country, both nationally and internationally. Okay? That's the first thing. No, I'm not here to say, I'm not here saying no matter what they do, they're right. And I'm not either saying no matter what they do, they're wrong. But we have no knowledge of why they make the decisions that they do. And even if they were to come out in some type of podium and say, I've just made this decision, and the reason why I've made this decision is because of kidda. Okay, what if we didn't like their decision? We still going to harp on about these rulers are oppressive, these rulers are that, these rulers are this? It is a waste of time. It is a waste of time. Yeah? That's the first reason why we shouldn't criticize from home or abroad these Muslim rulers. Yeah? And Allah says in the Quran, you get the rulers that you deserve. Yeah? Maybe I think it's coming up soon, but in another video I'm gonna um let you know about the experience that I had and Brother Omar had, and a few brothers who were with us on the ground in Egypt when the revolution happened. But that's another story. Yeah. And to be honest with you, that's what opened my eyes to the fact, because I was the same, hands up, I was the same. Like, he's a this, why is he doing that? He's an oppressor, he's a zalim, And then going through that whole thing, and also reading up about Khuruj al-Hakim, removing the ruler. There were questions coming from all over the place. Yeah. So that's why I have this stance now. And the second reason is this. Please don't believe for a second, if you open your mouth loud enough, because you're in a country that you believe you have freedom of speech in, you can run up your chops talking about this leader's a that, this leader's a this, that leader should do this, that leader should do that. And nobody else is picking up on you. Even worse, you decide to go to a country and start running up your chops in that country. Like, you're there, you've got your visa, you're just getting settled in, and then you happen to hook up with a Jamaat that's talking ridiculous talk about the current leader because he's done this and he's done that. To be frank with you, Ikhwan, that's not your business. The fact that you're there, the fact that you're trying to establish yourself, the fact that that Allah has given you permission to go to that country and establish yourself, yeah, is the only thing that you should be concerned about. Nothing else. How the government run that country is none of your business. And it should always remain so. The only aspect that you should be looking at is me being in that country. Is my path to my Lord now been made easier? That's it. That's it. Yeah? Because and that's what I'm trying, back to my main point about Allah being Lord of the worlds. What's going on in the political arena, both nationally and internationally, Allah's the Lord of that. Allah is the Lord of that Alameen. He's the Lord of those worlds. Yeah? And it's a different world to our world, meaning the ordinary man in the street. And any gradient between us in the street and those at a top level who are politically running the world and everything in between, Allah is Lord of all those worlds. So Allah will sort that out. You and me, we just, as ordinary gentlemen or people on the street, we just need to get our stuff together, which is what? To save ourselves and our families from the hellfire. Yeah? And one last thing. The sins of the people are on the head of the ruler. The sins of the people are on the head of the ruler. Yeah? So whether that ruler knows that or doesn't know that, again, it's not your concern. And some people talk about, well, you know, we should be allowed to advise our rulers. Them days are over. Them days where the leader would sit in a big court and people would come and he would listen to their grievances and say, okay, yes, okay, and then go to his wazir, listen, make sure that's done. The world doesn't operate like that anymore, unfortunately. Send an email if you want to, and send a polite email at that. Yeah? They don't have time. Listen, rather than listen to your small talk, because politically it's small talk, rather than listen to your small talk and allow you to fester some type of grievances between a group of people. Yeah, sorry about that. Just got a call. Yeah, like, rather than listen to you or me witter on about miniature grievances, about things that we have no idea about, and then and any leader is going to allow you to whisper in the ears of people that are around you and cause any possible dissension, then he's got a right to throw you in jail or eject you from the country. Yeah. Well, I've allowed you into my country, and then now you're here. You're just going to give it all that, telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing. Who are you exactly? Furthermore, take his visa and throw him out, or even worse, we put you in jail for a couple of years first, then we're going to throw you out of the country. So this is my advice, ikhwani ikhwat. You know, like, don't listen. Keep abreast of things internationally, of what's going on from country to country. You know, I mean, that's standard. But please don't fall into the trap, yeah, of believing that the world that we live in is allowing free speech. Because even those countries that shout from the treetops, free speech, free speech, free speech, free speech, even that free speech is within reason, yeah? So until the next video, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.